Hey, this is Tracy Lewis with Stuff and Things, and unfortunately, when I went to pick up Paper Pumpkin yesterday, it was at my mom's, and we're now up in at the campground, and I did not film it on my dash, so I apologize. We don't have that footage. We are now moved back to the Thousand Trails campground system after staying at my mom's for 3 weeks to get our rig ready for a trek to the East Coast. We leave mid-June, so I'm very excited to be trekking again. This month's Paper Pumpkin is called So Cool, and it coordinates with the ice cream. Oh, it has Ice Cream Corner Designer Series paper, of which I do have that paper, so I will be pulling that out to make some alternatives with it. And it does also, there's a stamp set. I did not get that stamp set. And oh, we have nice, wonderful, big, blocky sentiments. You are so cool. Way to go. Happy birthday. Hey there. A slice of watermelon, an ice cream, and some dots. And our spot for this kit is Bermuda Bay. So this month, Stampin' Up had some issues gathering all of the supplies for these kits. So they shipped, let's see, I think mine shipped 4 days late, 2 to 4 days late, I can't remember. So this is later than normal for me, which is sad because I always love to get it out as soon as I possibly can. And it was a little delayed. I see already some glimmer paper in here. And some really cute die cuts. Alright, we've got some twine. Let's look at our colors. Oh wow, these are shaped. That's very unique. So we'll see what we're gonna do with these for alternatives. Oh, you can make, here's some alternative ideas. Coordinating colors, Bermuda Bay, Blackberry Bliss. So this is a bumblebee twine. Cinnamon cider, old olive, and terracotta tile. So last month I asked if people would like to see me do the create, and I got some responses that it was clear to me that they didn't know what I meant by the create. So when I say create, that is making these examples per the instructions that come with the Paper Pumpkin kit. And so I typically don't do the create because I feel my value added to the Paper Pumpkin kit is talking about the alternatives. So just as other kits, I am not going to do the create because most of the comments from people who knew what I meant said, nope, I want to see your alternatives. So I'm going to stick with making these videos alternative focused. All right, so let's see what else we have. Dimensionals. Oh, goody. We love envelopes that have decorated insides so that you can, the stripes go all the way to the bottom. So we will be able to trim these out and have nice background paper. And it looks like there's 12 cards. These are shaped card bases. Wow, that is one big watermelon. Rainbow, watermelon, and I'm guessing that there's 2 patterns, yes, and 2 ice cream patterns. Those look like kiwi to me. All right, so those will be fun and different to play with. And then we have, oh, these are stickers. So stickers. Somebody mentioned with these stickers, if you have difficulty taking them off, these are going to be easy because they're a big solid sticker. But the word stickers, you can use press and seal to help protect them when you peel them off from their backing so that they don't tear. So I was hoping maybe these would be ones that I could test that suggestion out, but those are probably not going to be problematic. And these, though it's glimmer paper, it's all pre-cut into, I feel, some various shapes. This is very pretty. And looks like just two shapes. We have some rectangles and some starbursts, circles. So, ideas for using these extra little pieces. You can add these little strips as accents. We have some double-sided dots and more die-cut labels. So those are going to be fun to play with. So I am going to go away now and get all these pieces cut apart. I haven't shown this in a while, so the absolute easiest way to open your spot is to take a knife, like an X-Acto blade type knife, run it along the seam between the bottom and the top, and it usually is easy to do, and then they just pop open. Some people like to leave the top and bottom attached on the one side. I actually do not. I cut both sides, and instead, since I have one right here, I use mini rubber bands. The kind you can either buy them at the tack store for horse manes, or they now sell them, little mini bands, in the hairstyle section of any store, and the dollar stores, though their bands are super cheap and not very high quality. They are like a lifetime supply for only $1, so I have a supply of those. All right, I'm gonna go away, and I will be back in a bit with some alternative ideas, and I will pop in if I see some materials that look interesting that I want to share with you before I get to the actual building of the alternatives. So stay tuned. Alright, I am back because I do have some prep tips for you. First, I want to share the ice cream corner designer series paper. I have cut all of mine to 6x6s for easy storage. It comes as a 12x12. And see these stripes? They are very similar to the envelope stripes. The envelope stripes are they're like a hand-drawn wash, watercolor wash look. And you get a pattern side, and you get an image side. So if you've been considering the DSP is good until 6/30. It was in the mini catalog that goes through June. This is the first year where we have overlapping catalogs, so I wanted to point that out, that this is still something that you could get to go with this kit. And all different variety of colors. Love these watercolor wash backgrounds. Lovely. So that is what the ice cream corner DSP looks like, and I think I've used it once, so I have pretty much a full pack here. So lots of options for me. Okay, next we have two shapes of glimmer silver. I looked at the retiring stitched circles or stitched shapes, which has a few circles, and the circles didn't get small enough, but the layering circles, smallest circle works perfectly to save the inside of this starburst. Here is one that I die cut, so if you can go ahead and add the label to the front, and you still have all of this material left to play with as you will. For these rectangles that I believe are supposed to be placed maybe behind this in some fashion, I would cut these in half and a half again, so I could get double the material use out of them. Then there's the Starburst cutout piece, and I have pulled all sorts of material, or a variety of tools to cut out the middle sections as well as the extra large spaces around the perimeter. So you can use a punch. This one I actually haven't tested yet. I tested some of the others. So this one I'm thinking would take a middle piece, so you would just cut down the middle of each to get to the middle section. It almost is enough, so if you wanted some sort of a flowery glimmer peeking out the top, you could certainly use each of these corner middles to do a partial. The dragonfly and the butterfly work on the punches that have a large and a small, this small dragonfly actually fits along the edges, so it definitely would fit in the middle. Same with the small butterfly. This butterfly punch is retiring, so if it is still available, you want to snag it right away. I also pulled, there's stitched stars and Be Mine hearts. I pulled the two smallest single hearts, and they work in the middle like that. And then there is the strips that I talked about, and I just pulled 3 coordinating blends markers and colored the glimmer so you can have the silver be a color. The only hint I would say on this is that feather light touches, because these nibs are, you can ruin them with this glimmer being a rough surface, so just be very soft. You can let it dry and add multiple coats to get it darkened, but you will need to use the dark blends to get some color to show. I even, with this strip, I went ahead and cut apart an envelope. So this is the full back. It is 4 1/4. Here, I've got the ruler right here. It's 4 1/4 by 5, because these edges you lose a little bit. So this would have to be trimmed down, maybe cut into multiple pieces. And then again, you could do some die cuts with the remnant piece of the envelope flap and come up with all sorts of supplemental supplies out of the leftovers from the kit itself. And so I'm going to now go away. I'm going to see if this is all I will need, but I wanted to give you guys a heads up on some of the ways you can extend your materials. And then I'm even thinking, depending on what you want to do with these shapes, you could easily cut portions out of any of these. If you didn't find a good use for them in their full size, you can always just die cut shapes out of them with any of the die cuts that you have. And there's like tons of there's balloon die cuts and lots of flowers and sprigs to consider if you want to get into breaking down these shaped card bases. So away I go to continue on my path of creating alternatives. Hey, I've got some beginner stamping ideas to share. This is a really good kit for stamping because you have all these shapes. Here's one that I've already stamped up. And I have not done the watermelon. So I have the watermelon here, and I have a happy birthday here. And then I have some completed stamping, beginner stamping ideas to share. this is a kit that has so many options. I will be doing my mix and match showcase at the end that will have all sorts of mix and match ideas for you. And then I have a coloring option. I have a whole bunch of matching blends out here, and I have seen this done before and I keep forgetting to share it with everybody. So today I am going to share this one awesome trick if you're a beginner and you have very few materials available. This is a photopolymer stamp set, so underneath my grid paper is a giant mouse pad so that I have the softness I need to get good stamped images. I am not going to share one of my go-to tricks, which is using embossing folders, but this kit you could absolutely emboss, like even this watermelon. After you're done, you could emboss it with whatever patterns you want. Don't forget the trick of rotating your cardstock. Don't forget to stamp your images off the edge of the paper. Don't try to put them all on the paper or it will not look natural. So there's that. All stamped. I have a wonderful option for coloring. This is one of the new colors. It is called Polished Pink. And it has the light and the dark blends. So I bought them on pre-order and I very quickly colored. Because of the double lines, I made sure I did not color to the edge of the lines. I wanted it to look very casually colored. So you could take this happy birthday and color it or leave it plain. The back here has, of course now I've colored it, but a same idea. Stamping off the happy birthday and covering it with the ice cream. And here is a very casually colored. I wanted to share that Granny Apple Green actually looks really good with Bermuda Bay. And this is the splatter stamp that I used and stamped it off up to 3 times. Again, very simple washes with the brush nib. And for this one, I cut out a heart and I want to color the heart. And you need a darker color, a darker blend, as I showed in the demo. And you have to be very light, just soft, barely touching will give you color so that you don't rough up your nibs. So I'm using the brushed end. And this is one of the hearts from the Stitched Be Mine hearts, and this is a retiring product. And this die set will absolutely be going in my forever stash. So that is, so real red actually comes out pink. So when I say you need dark, you just pick whatever the dark is of your blends that you have. So I have on the You're So Cool, I went ahead and cut out the waffle paper from the ice cream DSP that coordinates. And this is without any additional coloring. Because I didn't know if I was going to put this on white or not, and I have the Whisper White still, a huge inventory of it, I wanted to make sure that this is a very cool white, so I went ahead and sponged around the edges. You actually, if you don't have a sponge and you only have your beginner, you can go all the way around the edge and you'll get a very dark colored line. It won't look as spongy as this, but I just wanted to show that you actually could get some separation of the whites by using just the spot itself. And you can just keep working at it to get some different textures. And the coloring on the cardstock that comes with the kit is really easy. I've got my polished pink, which is the color that I chose. So this is Melon Mambo. Polished pink and light polished pink. So I will show you how I color it, just very light. Purposefully not going all the way to the edge. I'm using the brush nib more at an angle. So that is how the paper that comes with the Paper Pumpkin kit colors. Wanted you to be able to see that. It kind of does a good job. Alright, so that's coloring. I have this is the tip now I was just talking about that I forget to share. I went to get a Blackberry Bliss colored cardstock and I have none in my pockets. I only have a couple of small pieces. So I grabbed a piece of white that has been used for a project already. I have the dark Blackberry Bliss and I've colored 3 of the edges. I color at an angle. And so as a beginner, if you just have a few markers, you could use the Stampin' Up markers as well. You can just color the edges of your white. And then, which one have I trimmed down here? I will go ahead and use this. I was starting to build a card. So here is a hand-colored mat. So keep that in mind as a trick. You can always color your own mats on the white paper. So that is a trick that I very often forget. And I have a couple of completed fun focals. And here would be an example of a nice easy card. I just took and looped some of the bumblebee twine. And you could even have it looped and then also have a bow. And I made a double bow. So this kit has so many coloring opportunities on the glimmer, on the card base backs, which are all shaped. Go ahead and do your own stamping. Don't forget one other technique that you can always use to add more interest in lieu of always embossing is you can take a kitchen knife. I have everything buried, of course. Here is the knife. And if you have a remnant that you want to use, let's say you want to do some vertical stripes, you can get a nice roughed up edge. I don't recommend you use your snips that you use for cutting your paper because this will dull them, and if you don't want your good knife to be dulled, you can just go get dollar store knives and use them. Just have it in your stash. And this, you can even tear it. What I like about this knife is it actually does a good job of tearing if I want to really get it rough. So this is a really good technique. And you can either pre-sponge, then rough up, or sponge after you rough up. So I wanted to show you what this roughed up edge looks like if I do a direct Stampin' Spot treatment to it. So with all of these different things that you can do with your cardstock, whether you have colored plain or this patterned DSP, you can do just all sorts of fun things. So I believe I am going to go away now and do a bunch of screenshots. Again, if something really unique comes up, I will pop back in here and share before the showcase. If I don't have anything unique to share, I will close out the video by saying if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, put them here on the video or over on my blog. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel so that you will get notified when I drop each month's Paper Pumpkin alternative. Sometimes I do multiple episodes depending on my schedule and what kinds of projects I'm putting together. And if you have anything you'd like to see, am I missing anything on these videos, let me know. I talked about the Create and the fact that I don't feel that the Create is necessary because you have the full instructions to do the Create. So the Create is creating the projects as intended using the instructions. And thanks for watching.